Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Self-Centered with Remi. And I'm very happy to have one of your favorite guests on, Hakeem.
What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. Hoping for another episode of great conversation and lots of twists and turns.
Yes, twists and turns for sure. Today, we are going to talk about some lessons that we have learned throughout our 20s, and we hope that you enjoy it. These are definitely lessons that we learned the easy way, sometimes the hard way. So strap in. It's going to get real. So I think a good place to start would probably be this idea of knowing when to let the party die. Sometimes we gotta learn when it's time to wrap it up. Enough is enough. I feel like we've all experienced this in like one way or another, but Keem, I'll let you tell it.
Yeah, um, so if y'all knew me in Boston a little bit when I was in New York too, like I'm always the person who's like, yo, we at the party, where we at, oh, we got this function, we got that function. And I used to be that homie who used to be partying until 2. If the club was open until 2, if the club was open up until 4, I was there until 4, having the time of my life. Mind you, I'm getting in. I have the ticket where it's like, what, free before what, 9, free before 10?
No.
So I was there for the whole deal, right?
Oh no, you were pulling shifts.
I was pulling hella shifts, yo. And I'm partying. One day I'm at, what club was it? Wasn't the Bala? It was definitely at the Bala. That I was there, and I think this may have been my 25th birthday,
Okay.
where I think my prefrontal cortex finally clicked, and I was like, yo, what am I doing here? It's 1:30. This is my 5th round of drinks. I bought
Yo.
2 shorties a drink. I didn't even catch their names.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't want to be like, hustle culture and anything like that, but I'm like, damn, like I could be hustling right now. Or even better, I could be asleep right now. And, from there, I kind of like leaned back. I was always the person now who's like, hey, we could wrap it up right now. But I think why we also brought this conversation up is, what was it? There was a study that said, I think it was on a New York news segment, but it was like, the most optimal time for people to be clubbing is at like 35 or something like that. I forgot where I saw that stat. And I was just like, yo, if I'm 35 still in the club having bottle wars with my nephews,
No.
somebody got to boom me in the back of the head because I can't, like, yo, I remember going to DC. That's all what was. Everybody in the section was somebody like bald head daddy in the section.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I got kids at home. I got a wife at home. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I feel like there's two sides to the coin, right? Because when you're 30 something, 30 plus, that's when you have the coin to do what you want to do in the club. Like in your 20s, you're just starting to get established. Like you don't really have section money, bottle money on your own as an individual. If 10 of y'all put it together, then yeah, you could get a section, but then it's 10 of y'all.
10 of y'all, one bottle. Uh-oh.
Exactly. 10 of y'all in one bottle. It's like, no, let's wrap this up.
Mm-mm.
But when you're 30 plus, it could be 2 of you, one section, endless bottles, because you have a little more disposable income. So it just kind of it gives a little bit more. So I see that side. You finally have the money to do what you want to do. And I feel like people have said to me that like your 30s are your 20s plus money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I like that. But then I feel like and I feel like I've experienced this now, even though I'm not in my 30s. When you go to the club, and it kind of goes back to that thing that you were saying about like battling your nephews. We're the older end of the people in the club. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
somebody in there that's like 21, but a senior in undergrad. And you're like, oh my days, what are we doing? And they're pulling up to you like, no.
That draws me back to, I'm not going to mention no names, but
Please don't. Please don't.
back when I was in Boston, and if y'all know the club, if y'all know what I'm talking, if once I describe it, people are gonna know the exact club that I'm talking about. But all I remember my senior year in Boston was coming out, and I saw all my peers around this one guy, older gentleman, and I'm talking older gentleman, with a 2005 BMW convertible drawn all the way down,
Oh
and him
no.
chatting up. I'm pretty sure she was a freshman. And I was there like, Lord, I know, not even that. I turned to my friend, I was like, if you ever see me on some nonsense like that, take me out the game. Take
Yeah.
me out the game.
I think there are ways to have, I don't even want to say age appropriate fun because that it's giving send me to the nursing home.
Mm.
But I think there's a way to have fun and be like the cool, like older brother, big sis type thing without it being weird. Cause like you can be 30 plus in the club, but do it in a way where you're not like chasing after like the young bloods. I feel like it's in very poor taste, and I'm not gonna say that. It's in very poor taste to be like nearly 40, 40 plus, and you're in the club spending your kids' college funds.
Hello.
Some young ladies drink. Like I just think that's not what you want to do. But
But no,
I
continue, continue.
think that you can go in the club and like I feel like if I was in my 30s and I had like disposable income, but I had like maybe like you have a mentee that you're really really close with, or you have like an actual younger sibling. That's the time when your disposable income should come in handy. Like, okay, yeah, like my little sis, my youths, and then come through. I'm gonna pay for the section. You live your life. I feel like maybe because I'm a girl that's happened to me, but I feel like that seems acceptable. I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess that's from your perspective because it's like I feel like if I did that, people would be having, looking a little bit sideways. You know what I'm saying?
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, we could get into the whole maybe it's a double standard, but actually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to kind of expand it a bit because not only just keeping it into like the club,
Mm-hmm.
but now I live in New York. You know what I'm saying? And New York, we have a little bit, due to cost of living or whatever, like we have a little bit of a delayed milestones, I'll say.
Okay.
When people like buy houses, when people have get, mature with their partner and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
But then it kind of has the question of when is now I'm gonna say the same question to those types of situations when it comes to those
Mm-hmm.
delayed milestones. For instance, I'm was in between housing, so I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace and I'm seeing 35-year-olds saying, "Yo, I'm looking for another roommate to be with us. Us, not me, us." In a
That's
four
just
bed,
crazy.
one bath in Bushwick for 1700. I'm there and I'm like, if I was 35 and I was asking for that type of situation, and I'm living in that type of situation, I got to move out of New York. My dreams aren't coming to fruition. I got to give it up. I got to give it up. But it's like sort of like, how can we politely tell people that the party's over, the show is over? It's time to, I don't want to be the rabbit with the clock, but it's like, yo, time's ticking, yeah.
I feel like that is a tricky situation because that is very much like a New York slash California thing. Because I
Mm,
know someone that works at a top tech company making coin, we assume. I'm not pocket watching.
so
We
it's crazy.
assume. We assume. But like, let me put it like this. I asked this person who works at a top tech company. I was like, yeah, like I saw this job and it's like 114,000, and that person said that's nothing out here, and I feel like it's not even them as a person because they live with a roommate, at least one, from what I understand. So I feel like it's a geographical thing, so I feel like we can't put too much on people that have roommates and they're in their 30s. Now if you are in a very affordable city and you're not working, not because you've fallen on hard times, but because you just not working, we need to hang that up.
I'll even throw you another example.
Okay.
Now imagine yourself at 35,
Okay.
young, hot, employed 35-year-old Remy. Do you see yourself with a situationship?
No.
Okay, and you know why? Because we got too old for that. But I know there are people who are in the like 45
Yeah.
having a roster.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, I think that I'm past 25, right? And I think one day I woke up and it was like my frontal lobe finished. It was like ding. Timer went off. And I started thinking about like how people have like sneaky links and situationships.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of like, why are you sneaking around
That's
as
your
an
biggest.
adult? Yeah, like not to drag you, but like you're an adult. Like you don't have to lie to anybody. Like I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but it's more like a why are you lying as an adult? Like it's not like that person could put their hands on you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's actually no reason to lie because you if the person doesn't like what you got going on, they can just move on. So it's you
You
know?
would be surprised how many don't.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to bring up another lesson too that
Okay.
actually Remy and I talked about a little bit, I think like what, a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, as many of you may not know, but one of my favorite movies, I think my favorite movie of all time, is Paid in Full with
I
like
did
Woody
not know that.
Harrelson. I love that movie, the cultural relevance
Really?
of it, the sayings, the shit, even the memes that came out of it, like immaculate.
Okay.
But one lesson that I got from that movie, and I'm applying this to my life right now, especially, young hustler getting after it and everything like that, is it's not necessarily what is it called? You have to make sure that when you bring people into your circle, it's not that they want to also eat, but they also want to eat with you. They also want to get money with you,
Mm-hmm.
because the way some of these people be moving out here, at least from what I've seen in New York,
Mm.
shiesty business. So I
Yeah.
think it's one of those things where it's not necessarily, skin folk and kinfolk or nothing like that, but it's like once you start climbing and everything there, like people are also climbing too, but you really got to understand, one, how did they get to where they are right now?
Yes.
And then two, yo, if you bring them on your journey, do they have your best interest? Do they have your back?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I've been learning since I moved to Brooklyn and everything.
Yeah, no, that's really real. And I think, me and Ethan kind of touched on this in the last episode where we were talking about like essentially the question is, does it matter how you get to the top? And like it was kind of like in the context of like what you just said, but like how engineers we like go to school and then we leave and we get a job making like weapons of mass destruction. And it's like, yeah, you get into the bag, but at what cost? Now, it's not to really dive into like what companies you should and should not work for. I think it's more along the lines of like, who do you want to have in your circle? Because there's some people that just have no regard. They don't
No.
have a personal code. And I think that when you're in your 20s, you feel like, oh, they just act like that with those people over there. They'll never treat me like that. And when I tell you, if you think it can never be you, life will show you how it absolutely will be you.
It's
So,
not a question of if. No, I'm saying it's not a question of if. It's a question of when. At that point.
yes, yes. Those people over there that they're treating poorly, that will be you. And it'll be you like when you're down. When you're
Yes,
down and
in
out.
the
That's when,
gutter.
yeah. And whoever that was, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is my time to really kick them while they're down." So you do have to choose carefully. And I think that's over time it's made me a more private person
Really, it's
in a
made you more
way.
private? No, no, no. I'm just because, like, I feel like for me, because I guess it's just like a difference of the outlook. Like, it's just made me like observe and question more before
Yeah.
I bring you in and everything like that. Because I'm like, yo, like, how you really get here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
was it on your own? Did you put like for me, right? If y'all know my story, I always play the system. I don't play other people. I play the system
Yes.
to get where I'm at. But now I'm asking you, like, yo, so what did you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you get into this status? How did you get to like this salary, that job title, that industry, and everything like that? Because
Mhm.
again, people be moving shiesty out here.
They do. And that I think that's why I am so private now because corporate will show you
Oh,
that you
don't even
have
get me
no
started.
friends. It's no friends in the game.
Nah,
That's why you have to be private. Sometimes, like, your business is not for everybody. Like, you quite literally just need to. I now see why, like, our parents were like, don't say anything until it's done.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like, it sounds very superstitious, and in a way it kind of is, but not everybody is happy for you. Not everybody wants to see you succeed. And like, where does that come from? Like, is a whole nother episode in and of itself. But it's more like you need to look out for yourself. You really have to protect your neck, literally, in these streets, because people will smile in your face and you'll be telling them like everything that's going on in your life, and then they'll turn around and use all of that information against you. They're just sitting there letting you chat, 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 and bam, right in the back. So not every I think that's a really good lesson to learn, like thinking about who's in your circle. Because I feel like when you're in college, everybody's your friend. You're like, oh
Well,
yeah, I sat next to that person in chem, or I sat next to them in calc. They helped me out. That's the homie. Now you're inviting them to the pregame, inviting them to the this and the that, and it's like, no, that's not your friend.
but actually, I'm gonna push back on that because for me,
Mm-hmm.
like I never under well not Remy, as you know, I got a big mouth. So keeping stuff together, keeping stuff like inside and stuff like that, that's not really my forte. My thing has always been how, or at least how I've approached it is like it's not necessarily like if I feel like I can't tell you my goals, my ambitions, and my direction in life, why are you around here?
I see what you're saying. I do. But I feel like it's not necessarily like having people around that you can't speak on things with. It's like levels of closeness. Like
Mm.
for me, you can have friends that you could be like, oh yeah, like this is going on in my life and that's going on in my life. But you don't tell them like your deepest, darkest secrets. Like they're not locked in. They haven't signed the 360 deal yet.
Type, yeah, yeah.
Now, like there are people that are cool. You invite them to the function, whatever. Like we can all be cordial. Even they feel super close to you, but maybe I'm not that close to you. You might be close to me, but I'm not close to you. That doesn't
Mm,
mean that we're not friends, that you don't get invited to things that I don't talk to you. It's just what level of sharing am I comfortable sharing with you?
that's valid. Okay.
It's like a level of discernment, because there are some people who are nice, but it's like I I don't know you like that.
Yeah, but like I always operate off of like because I know some people are like when I first meet you, I don't trust you, and then when I build trust over
Mhm.
time. I always feel like I'm the opposite, where I'm like when I first meet you,
Mhm.
and I feel like you have good intentions, I'm gonna give you that trust.
Yeah.
This my guy. It's
Mhm.
up to you if it keeps whittling down, though.
I
You
see.
know what I'm saying? And I feel like
I
I feel like I verbalize that though. It's not like, oh, it's a mini test, like, oh, this guy at 70%, that guy's at 60. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, for me, it's you really got to earn this,
You gotta earn it. Okay. All right.
because and the reason why I'm like that is because there's nothing that I'm going to ask of somebody that I'm not willing to give to them. So if I'm
That's
like,
facts.
I
Okay.
need to be able to trust you, like chips are down, I can call you, then that means I must be able to provide that as well. So
Hmm.
when I say, like, oh, we're locked in, you've signed your 360 deal, welcome to Death Row Records.
Yo, that's crazy. Shook
We're
Remy.
locked
Shook
in.
Remy.
Yeah, okay. There's no we ain't it's no getting out of this. It's blood in, blood out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a very strict program, and not everybody gets a chain,
Everybody gets a chain.
Some of us are still, out here just whatever. But I feel like it doesn't mean that they're like less of a person to me. It's just like if I were in an emergency and I only have 1% on my phone, I can only shoot off one text to somebody. Who are like the first five people that you think of? Those are your welcome to Death Row Records people. The people that you will wait until you've charged your phone, and then you got like 20%, so now you can shoot off a couple more texts, maybe even a little phone call. Those people are like really good friends of yours.
Mm.
And then the people where you're like, you're waiting till you see them in person to tell them what happened, those are like loose friends, maybe even acquaintances, but like they're not people that I feel like you should tell everything to. But that's just how I operate. I'm very strict over here.
Yeah, that's a
People should feel like they know you. Emphasis on
ooh,
feel like.
ooh. It's how Remy moving, y'all. I like it. I like it. Okay.
It's very strict over here, and that's because when I eat, everybody eats. Like I'm the girly. If I get invited up to the DJ booth, it's me and the squad going up. It's not just me. So I don't know, but I think that's an important lesson to learn is how to is essentially what you want to do for your friendships for what works for you. If everybody has to be like locked in, then that's what it has to be. But then you have to have a good level of discernment in order to weed out the people who should not be there.
And actually, I'm glad you used that word discernment. It's like I feel like before my prefrontal cortex, I was on some this guy's cool, this guy's cool, this guy's cool. Oh, he moving perfect. Come on in to the club type stuff, you know. But now it's like I really, and it's hard because you can't necessarily get it off rip. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, like, how can I really get somebody's like morals, their values, the codes that they live by, and stuff like that? Because me, all my codes, I got it from Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got to where I am right now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a solid start. That's a solid start.
But it's like some people, and I've seen it in Brooklyn. I've seen it in Brooklyn. And I'm only gonna keep it to Brooklyn. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep it to Boston. Let's go back to Boston. The way some people move, it's like you ain't never seen the belt before. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And honestly, I think developing those values, it's more so, I think for me, I started being very strict when I noticed how peaceful my life was. Some people describe that as boring. They're like, wow, my life is boring. And I'm like, no, your life is peaceful because there aren't a bunch of gremlins causing chaos.
Yes.
I remember in college, I was a part of a friend group for a short period of time. And it was just endless beef with these girls. One girl would get mad with one girl. Them two weren't talking. Now it's up to the rest of the friend group to get them back to talking. I could not imagine doing that right now. I'm getting my PhD. I could not imagine someone calling me and being like, I'm not talking to XYZ person because she made me mad because she didn't call me. The phone goes both ways.
At your grown age.
Exactly. Like, you're 36.
Yeah,
So I think that sometimes, and I used to say it, drama is the spice of life. As much as everybody says they hate it, we all love seasoning. Okay. But it gets to a point where you have to start asking yourself, like, yes, my life is exciting. There's always something going on, but at what cost? Sometimes I do want to have boring friends that don't have too much going on because I don't want to have to keep up with like 8 storylines in your life. I'm gonna be honest. I have my
yeah.
own storylines to keep up with. Now I gotta remember that you're not talking to that person and we hate this person and blah blah blah. I just like I can't live my life like that. Personally.
Had I think we had a daily episode, a plot twist, a Shakespearean murder, a Shakespearean tragedy, all before 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So no, I mean like
And
life
I
is
think like that sounds exhausting.
no, I mean it was like you go home, you face the world and everything. You facing the world of microaggressions, and you get home to actual aggressions. So I mean, like yeah, like I think that's what it is. Is like you really just gotta have your life peaceful, man. Like you gotta vet. You gotta have that discernment to keep your life peaceful. Like, and this is coming from a former it's 3 a.m. What's the next move kind of person, man. Now, actually, it's past my bedtime right now. No, I'm joking. But I'm gonna stay up for Remy, yo. Anything for self centered. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good way to put it. Like you reach a point where you start asking yourself, where do I want to put energy?
Mm.
And I think it's, for me at least, it's been where do I feel the most energized? Like, who are the people that fill me up when I'm around them? And I just maximize my time with them and minimize my time in other places that are draining. And then, balancing out your goals with that too. I was actually talking to a very good friend of mine maybe a week or so ago, and we were talking about how different quote unquote adult life is compared to undergrad. I said, yeah, adult life is constantly being unhappy with at least one area of your life. It's never that all the areas are perfect because I feel like undergrad, it would literally be as simple as you get out of class, you text your group chat of like a million people, yo, who wants to go to the dining hall? Now it's 10 of y'all in there. After that, you're like, yo, who wants to go to the student union? Or who wants to go here? Or who wants to go there? And it's just like you would just go to these places and then you would run into other people and be like, hey, what's going on? And like, it was just always a good time whilst you're doing your work, going to classes and whatever. But as an adult, that doesn't happen anymore. Those kind of serendipitous moments are packed up. So you have to make a concerted effort to see the people that you want to see, to have the fun that you want to have. And hopefully you're in a job that you don't hate. And hopefully you have like some sort of like group of people around you that are kind of okay. But I feel like as an adult, like none of all of those areas are not perfect at the same time. They're not all tens.
Yeah, like I remember I was I was talking to this one fine lady. She worked in the health or the medical field and everything like that. And me, young guy and everything like that. I'm like, yo, when you free, let me take you
Yeah.
out and everything. Shawty sent me her Google Calendar and was like, yo, I'll send an invite. And I was like, yeah, this adulting stuff is gonna be a learning curve because I ain't never seen this before.
She sent you a Google Calendar.
Go, like, I'm gonna send you an invite and then we can meet. I'm like, with an invite with all the location, her dietary restrictions, and everything like that. And I was like, oh, so this is what y'all be doing out here in the real world. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it.
Yeah, I think people are very weird. Just like across the board when you meet them, I think social media and like just being online has made people like, why do you think that's okay? at at your job, yeah, it makes sense. Send me a calendar invite, put a hold on my calendar. But like you go out in the real world and it's like people are like, yeah, let me check my schedule right now. So I have two meetings on Saturday, but maybe we can have like a lunch date from like 12 to 12:45. Well, actually, let's say 12:15 cuz like I have to get in between. Stop.
Like,
Stop.
I knew corporate had me by the balls when I started asking people, yo, what quarter are we in again?
Yeah,
We just Q4.
yo, all of you quarter warriors, I remember what was it? October 1st. It was like Q4 starts now. This is when we drive. This is when we win. I said pack it up. Cuz why are you saying that on Instagram?
Corporate got us all, man. Corporate got us
Yeah.
all.
We've all been red pilled one way or another, and I don't
Crazy.
like that. But I think that I'm kind of looking forward to my views. I still got some time, but I think I'll be done with grad school and I'll have real money again, real money. And I'll have like some type of freedom. But I feel like your 20s are weird because half of your friends are like, I think I should have a baby. And then the other half are like, I think I should run another marathon. Where's the middle road?
I got people who got babies. I got people who got engaged. I got people who are married. I got people who bought their first house. I know people who bought their fourth investment property. I know people who are directors. I know people, still looking for work and everything like that. Everybody is just everywhere right now,
Yes.
which leads me to another lesson. Not to change the subject, but leads me to another lesson. Now I know I'm going to be a great African father, African uncle, and African grandfather because, I got all these different sort of sayings in my head from
Perfect.
various sources. But one that I like to reflect on a little bit more is this saying, and I can't say it in Yoruba because I'm not trained and I'm going to learn the language. But
Okay.
essentially, what it means is sometimes you have to leave the road in order to find the road.
Yes.
And I reflect on that because when, my engineering career and everything like that, mind you, I was a terrible engineering student. I'm gonna put it on record. And I was a terrible engineering student, right? But I recognize that okay, I may be a terrible engineering student, but I know computers, I know data, I know go to market, I know business a little bit. Let me go transfer over there. Now, when I
Mm.
told my dad that, well, first I went into school to be a biomedical engineer, medical student, and when I told him to that I was going to be an industrial engineer, he was like, you are never make it. You are a fool. Why can't you be like this person's son? This person's daughter, whatever, 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 right? He's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, he was even like, oh, Northeast is not even a good school. You are wasting your
And it's like,
talents.
bro, what?
And now he's now that he sees where I am and everything, the positions, how I've been able to maneuver my career and everything like that. He's like, now he's hitting me with you have done very well for yourself. You have me worried, but you have done very worried for yourself.
You have me words there
And
for a second.
it's crazy because I feel like I've done this. I've low key done the same thing with my brother and my sister. Because my brother, he
Mm.
graduated from Harvard and everything like that, but this guy graduated with an econ major, is doing acting right now. And I was like, "Kid, acting? We sent you to school to go and act, you know what I'm saying?" But he's finding his way. He just did his first production and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
That's so cool.
he's figuring it out, but it kind of, as I'm here about to start scolding him, like, why haven't you found a job, 40 hours and everything? I'm like, wait, it's the echoes of my past, it's the echoes of my
Yes.
father.
Like you are the evil you seek to destroy.
You know what I'm saying? Even my sister, she's looking at colleges right now, and she's like, "Oh, I like this school because they have this program." I'm there. I'm like, "Do you know how much they make? You are never making?" And I'm like, "No," because you see what I'm saying. It's like, I think that kind of leads me to like. Am I almost 30? No, I'm not even, well, somewhat close. But I'm like, as I'm thinking about like fatherhood and stuff like that, it's like, damn, like you really, all it is just, you can even have this sometimes with friendships too. It's just like you just want to make sure that people, as much as you can, and I'll say this more towards like, children and siblings and stuff like that more than your friends, but you just need to make sure that they're equipped with the right tools. Like
Yes.
that's really it. Cause the way I was trying to pull my brother to, if you don't go into quant finance or investment banking, you will never make, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, he's figuring out, he's making his own path and all that, and he's done pretty good progress thus far. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's just reflecting on that. It's like, damn, like sometimes, like, all you gotta do is trust the tools that you've given to them and then
Yes.
let them find their own path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's real. And I do think you're right. In some ways you can apply it to your friends because it's so weird. We kind of all started off on like the same launch pad, like we all met in college. And then you kind of take that leap after graduation and you're like, okay, I'm going this way. And you're hoping that all your friends are kind of going the same way with you. And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, a couple weeks ago. This friend was telling me about something that they were doing, like a person that they were seeing. And I didn't like this person. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like the person. But it's like you have to trust that that person will see for themselves that, okay, maybe this is not the ideal situation for me. Because, like, every time you talk to me about the situation, it's chaos. It's literal chaos. But you can't tell them, like, break up with them today because now you're the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to trust that eventually their own discernment, their own tools, whatever it is, will kick in and they'll finally course correct and get back on the straight and narrow. Does that always happen? No.
It doesn't, but there was a TikTok about this exact situation where it's like, sometimes you stepping in is robbing them of learning that
Yes.
experience. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I've seen that plenty of times for me to know. Sometimes the best course of action is just to let them hit the brick wall and hopefully they
Yeah.
get back up.
Yeah, like it reminds me of like when I was a kid and my mom would tell me not to do something. And of course, you do it and like you fall or you hurt yourself and your parents just look at you and they're like, it good.
You have learned.
And you're like, and like sometimes you do have to be like that where like you tell the person like, oh, like, I don't know, like, are you happy? And they're like, no, but we're gonna work it out. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why my favorite go to. If I ever tell you one or two things, it's your life or see your life. Just know I do not agree with what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna let you rock because it's your life at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
I think like over time you just learn. That's another lesson that I've learned is like sometimes you just have to let people do what they need to do. And as a friend, it's not necessarily your job to prevent them from crashing. It's just being there for the aftermath. And that's hard because sometimes you're like,
Damn it again.
exactly. Like I have a friend, Lord, bless his heart. There have been so many times where I'm seeing the danger. It's like that like ethical question that they ask you when you're little. Like if you see a train going to crash into somebody, do you flip the switch and let it crash into somebody else? Is it this friend is just a mess. I see them, I'm like, oh my goodness, what you got going on? But it's not my place to say that to them. Say, hey, like, what's going on? It's more so like they'll call me and let me know what they got going on when it's a little more digestible for me, and I'll be like, okay, so where do we go from here? It's not easy because you want the best for everyone, but sometimes people just have to live their own lives. So
Yeah, and I had to get out of that sort of mindset because like before, like I would be tugging at people by the collar, like, yo, bro, you can't be doing this. You gotta go this way. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what is it? It's like, and actually, it was an ex of mine who kind of like opened my mind a little bit. 'Cause I remember I was on the phone in her dorm and everything, and I'm arguing. I forgot with who, but I was just like, "Yo, bro, you can't do this. You can't do it that way. You can't do it. Like, you gotta do it the way that I laid it out for you, right? Because
mhm.
because I know, like, a little bit of my arrogance or whatever. But I'm like, I know better. I see it objectively. I know where to go, right? And I hung up the phone and I was like, damn, this guy never listens.
Mhm.
And she sat down next to me and she looked at me and she was like, who are you to decide that? I was like,
She gagged you.
what the hell? What do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? And she was
Like,
like, now, like, who are you to tell them what to do? And I'm like, yo, I want the best for the person. And they're like, what
yeah,
if they don't want the best for themselves? Oh,
my
yo, we
fault,
could,
big dog.
yo, I was like, yo, we could do that? But it was really, again, just one of those lessons that I had to learn where it was like, hey, like, again, some people need to leave the road, some people need to veer off and just find it out for themselves.
Yeah.
And low key for me, that's that's low key why I feel like we could get into the whole concept of black mentorship and stuff like that. And again, it could be my arrogance and whatnot, but like for me,
That's
I'm
a whole
always
episode in and of itself.
that's a whole that shit. That may be a TED talk.
Yeah.
But it's like it defers sometimes to Max B a little bit, where he went in one video, he was like, "Yo, anything y'all do, I do the opposite. Y'all go up, I go left." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Not even the opposite. It is weird because it's like that's how I've always felt like I've been able to like maneuver just for myself, which it goes a little bit, I guess, a little bit into my ego, but not to be on my Kanye West, but it's like, is it ego if I accomplished it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not speaking cocky, but you know what I'm saying? But we could actually say that could be another episode actually.
That could be another episode.
But no, I mean like, but again, ultimately it's just like, yeah, you just gotta like people are gonna go on their own path, and even like it's funny because it's like you want to have the best interests for people. You want to go like, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I
Hmm.
do if I was in your shoes. But the issue
Yeah.
is you're not in their shoes.
Yes. I
They're
agree.
handling it. You know what I'm saying? They know the situation. They know all the context and everything like that. So it's like, hey, you got it. Just know if you need support, I'm here. That's really it. And I
Yes.
think that's something I've had to learn throughout my years and stuff.
No, that's real. And speaking of knowing when to hang it up, I think that's a good place to leave it. I
Perfect.
feel like this has been a very rich episode filled with a lot of wisdom that we've picked up in our 20s. And I feel like I've learned some stuff. And I hope you all have learned some stuff too. Thank you again for joining me and Keem for another episode of Self Centered. And Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye.